Hello everyone and welcome to the third module of Life Skills for Semester 1. In this module, we will be discussing two of the core life skills prescribed by WHO, which is creative thinking and problem solving. Let us take a look at the topics that we will be discussing in this video.
So as you can see, in this particular video, we will be discussing on the aspects of creativity. So before stepping into the main concepts, we shall look into the important 21st century skills and the importance of these skills for a professional. We will then move on to discuss the different aspects of creativity, including the sources and the factors that affect creative thinking and some other important theories related to creative thinking. Throughout the world, there is now a growing emphasis on the acquisition of 21st century skills for professionals to survive and move forward in this fast-paced information age. These skills are intended to help students keep up with the lightning pace of today's modern markets. Each skill is unique in how it helps students, but they all have one quality in common. They are essential in the age of internet. 21st century skills are broken into three main categories: learning skills, literacy skills, and life skills. Now let us take a look at all the three categories in detail. The first category is learning skills, which contains the 4 C's: critical thinking, creative thinking, collaboration, and communication. These skills teach students about the mental processes required to adapt and improve upon a modern work environment. The 4 C's are by far the most popular 21st century skills because they are universal needs for any career. Critical thinking is the mechanism that weeds out problems and replaces them with fruitful endeavors. Creativity is equally important as a means of adaptation. This skill empowers students to see concepts in a different light, which leads to further innovation. Collaboration means getting students to work together, achieve compromises, and get the best possible results from solving a problem. The key element of collaboration is willingness. All participants have to be willing to sacrifice parts of their own ideas and adopt others to get results for the greater good. Finally, communication is the glue that brings all of these educational qualities together. Communication is a requirement for any company to maintain profitability. It is crucial for students to learn how to effectively convey ideas among different personality types. Literacy skills are the second category of 21st century skills. They are sometimes called IMT skills, and they are each concerned with a different element in digital comprehension. The skills included in literacy skills are information literacy, media literacy, and technology literacy. Information literacy is the foundational skill. It helps students understand facts, especially data points that they'll encounter online. More importantly, it teaches them how to separate fact from fiction. Media literacy is the practice of identifying publishing methods, outlets, and sources while distinguishing between the ones that are credible and the ones that aren't. Just like the previous skill, media literacy is helpful for finding truth in a world that's saturated with information. Last, technology literacy goes another step further to teach students about the machines involved in the information age. As computers, cloud programming, and mobile devices become more important to the world needs more people to understand these concepts. This understanding removes the intimidating feeling that technology tends to have and unmasks the high-powered tools that run today's world. Life skills is the final category of the 21st century skills, also called FLIPS or flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. These skills all pertain to someone's personal life, but they also bleed into professional settings. Flexibility is the expression of someone's ability to adapt to changing circumstances. Flexibility is crucial to a student's long-term success in a career. Knowing when to change, how to change, and how to react to change is a skill that will be useful throughout one's life. Leadership is someone's penchant for setting goals, walking a team through the steps required, and achieving those goals collaboratively. Initiative is one of the hardest skills to learn and practice. Initiative often means working on projects outside of the regular working hours. Along with initiative, 21st century skills require students to learn about productivity or efficiency. That's a student's ability to complete work in an appropriate amount of time. There is one last skill that ties all the 21st century skills together: social skills. Social skills are crucial to the ongoing success of a professional. Etiquette, manners, politeness, and small talk still play major roles in today's world. Now that we have discussed all the three categories of 21st century skills and know about its importance, let us move on to the next topic, which is creativity and the different aspects of creative thinking. Creativity may be defined as the ability to produce original, appropriate, and valuable ideas or solutions to problems. The global economy has shifted drastically over the past few decades, and success in any career is not just based on technical knowledge and hard work anymore. The person should be able to use existing knowledge in new ways to search for all the possible solutions to the problems he or she is confronted with. Innovation is a term which is usually discussed along with creativity. So what is the difference between innovation and creativity? Innovation is the implementation of a new or significantly improved product, service, or process that creates value for business, government, or society. The main difference between creativity and innovation is the focus. Creativity is about unleashing the potential of the mind to conceive new ideas, whereas innovation is the implementation of a significantly improved product or service. Creativity is expressed in many different ways and situations. It is widely accepted that creativity is a product of the interplay of three components: knowledge, creative thinking skills, and motivation. The first source of creativity is knowledge. We must have enough knowledge in the domain concerned to approach a problem creatively. We should have a deep knowledge in our area of interest and a general awareness about other branches so that we can contribute something to the world by introducing creative and innovative ideas. Another component is our creative thinking skills. The manner in which our intellect processes a problem, a question, or information and arriving at a conclusion can be called a thought process. So the more fine-tuned our thinking skills are, the better our creativity becomes. Motivation is the most important component of creativity. Motivation can be of two types: intrinsic motivation, or the motivation that arises in oneself, or the motivation that we create for ourselves, and extrinsic motivation, or the motivation that arises from a promise of a reward or punishment. So when you motivate yourself to better yourself, it's intrinsic motivation. And when someone promises a reward for completing some work or achieving something, that's an example of extrinsic motivation. While knowledge, motivation, and creative thinking skills are deemed as the sources of creativity, there are some other concepts that have a great influence on our creative thinking skills. These are imagination, intuition, and experience. The first concept that we are going to discuss is experience. Experience is the source from which we acquire knowledge. Our brain develops its databases through different experiences and knowledge, which is increased further by our experience. People with more experience are usually more creative. People who are experienced are intellectually curious and comfortable with expressing and experiencing emotions and willing to try new things, and therefore the solutions or the ideas they come up with will have all the inputs that they have procured from their years of experience, and thereby they will be more creative in nature. Another important factor that has a great influence on creativity is imagination. Imagination, in simple terms, is the ability to see the impossible or unreal. To do something in a different way, we often rely upon our imagination. In creativity, we need to focus on ideas that might be possible. Imagination requires less actual knowledge and it relies rarely on facts. And finally, intuition is the ability to know something without using reasoning or rational thinking. It is the knowledge that we never consciously know that we had. All the experiences we have stored in our minds without our attention contributes to our intuition. It is believed that these stored experiences will help us in problematic situations. Intuition represents non-linear thinking, where the mind makes a jump from the known and predictable to the unknown and unpredictable. So now that we have an understanding about what the important aspects of creativity and creative thinking are, let us take a look at what critical thinking is and what are the major differences between creative and critical thinking. Although these are different in their pattern, effective problem solvers must think both creatively and critically, generating options and focusing their thinking. Critical thinking is the active, persistent and careful consideration of a belief or form of knowledge. It includes analysis and judgments about the ideas and conditions that support beliefs and the conclusions that follow. Critical thinking involves analyzing and evaluating one's own thinking and that of others. It is subject to intellectual standards including clarity, accuracy, precision, relevance, significance, depth, breadth, logic, and fairness. It also involves examining possibilities carefully, fairly, and constructively, focusing on one's thoughts and actions by organizing and analyzing different possibilities, refining and developing the most promising possibilities, ranking or prioritizing options, and then choosing certain suitable options. Creative thinking, on the other hand, involves the generation of new ideas within or across disciplines. It draws upon or breaks rules and procedures in those disciplines and actively engages students in bringing together existing ideas into a new configuration and thereby developing new properties or possibilities for something that already exists and discovering or imagining something entirely new. Standards for judging creative thinking includes originality, appropriateness, flexibility, and contribution to the domain. Now that we have understood the major differences between critical and creative thinking, let us take a look at a theory that is closely related to this concept. It is called the theory of left and right brain. The theory states that the human brain is divided into two halves or hemispheres. Within each half, particular regions control certain functions. The two sides of your brain look very much alike, but there is a huge difference in how they process information. So the theory of left and right brain states that people are either left-brained or right-brained, meaning that one side of their brain is dominant. So if you're mostly analytical and methodical in your thinking, you're said to be left-brained. The left brain is more verbal, analytical and orderly than the right brain. It is sometimes called the digital brain. It's better at things like reading, writing and computations. The left brain is also connected to functions including logic, sequencing, linear thinking, mathematics, facts and thinking in words. On the other hand, if you tend to be more creative or artistic, you are thought to be right-brained. The right brain is more visual and intuitive. It is sometimes referred to as the analog brain. It has a more creative and less organized way of thinking. The right brain is also connected to functions including imagination, holistic thinking, intuition, arts, rhythm, and nonverbal cues. The last concept we are discussing in this video is lateral thinking. Lateral thinking is a term coined by Edward de Bono. It represents a way of problem solving by an indirect and non-sequential method using reasoning. It is a process that starts with the generation of new ideas. The logical continuation of steps to reach and solve a problem is not important here. The two main aspects of lateral thinking are freeing our thought process from old ideas and stimulating the creation of new ideas. With that, we have come to the end of part 1. We will continue with the module in the next 2 videos. Thank you for listening.